Hey Charles, how are you today? Charles Traynor.
Hello, Lee Gersman. Doing alrighty, and this is a nice change of, well, not really. Well, it is a change of pace for people to follow the Lee Gersman show because I
Yeah.
told him yesterday we could do it today, and I was ready today.
Oh
That's a
wow.
refreshing thing.
Yeah.
Um, but it was my pick, and I got to say publicly thank you in advance. It was kind of just random out of nowhere. You want to do this tomorrow, Lee? He said, okay.
All right.
Nice enough to say okay, and so I guess you tell the folks what we're doing.
We're doing an album by Squeeze called Argy Bargy.
Argy Bargy. Now we just did Squeeze East Siders not that long ago.
Yep.
And I think we had a conversation or so offline about, well, Jules Holland was in the band before.
Yep.
And Lee was kind of like, yeah. Well, this is the album before East Siders. So Jules Holland is in the band.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know enough about Squeeze history. I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, they do have a new album out. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
I haven't checked it out. I think what scared me away was it's labeled as adult contemporary. That probably is what scared me away. But maybe it's good. I don't know.
Huh.
I don't think Jules Holland is on the album.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I don't know. And I got an English coworker. He just assumes everybody in America knows Jules Holland.
Huh.
It's, not really.
I mean, I do, but
yeah.
But not that I wanted to, but I did.
But yeah, I'm unaware of his TV show. He kind of went on to be a TV guy with some other things. But I mean,
Yeah.
He was in the band. And he was in the band here. We could see everybody minus Paul Carrot.
Yeah.
He was on the next album, and I can't say I knew any. I do know a song from it. I knew a song from it before I heard the album. But I didn't hear the version of the song that's on the album, but I knew the song. But at this point, I think this might have been 82-ish.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any Squeeze on our radio, but, I grew up in Meathead land.
Yeah.
They didn't really play a lot of quote-unquote smart music, per se. Or maybe I just listened to a hard rock channel. I don't know. But I never heard Squeeze at this point in my life when it was out. But obviously, I was pretty impressed with East Siders, so I thought, what the hell, let's try one before it. Now it's kind of my inspiration.
Yeah.
And, well, what you got on Argy Bargy?
I might have heard it before, and I'm not sure if I bought it or if I just heard it, but either way, I do remember some of the songs, and I remember how I felt about them, and so I decided that I'd still listen to the whole thing, and yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lee was aware of it. I wasn't. I was playing with my Rainbow Bright director set, I think, when this was out, and he was a musical savant already. So
yeah, I might have wanted to play that that Rainbow Bright with you, if I knew next door they were playing this.
Well, that's a good spoiler. Well, let's get into this fabulous album, if you will. Or not.
All right.
You go first. I'd love to hear your.
Okay, the first song is "Pulling Muscles from the Shell." Okay. This sounds like a song from a band who will soon do good stuff, but so far is still making their way with mediocre songs. I know this song, and every time I've heard it, I've felt indifferent. I'm not judging the album on this one song, though. I'll wait and hope it gets better. What do you think?
This is well, first of all, they don't wait a minute. I mean, it just goes right into it, which is kind of cool. I like that. There's no forcing around. They just get right into the song. This was the one I was aware of. It was on the last Squeeze review. I said they were on the first ever MTV Unplugged, and the chorus was in the commercial. Oh, pulling muscles from a shell. Also, Elliot Easton was on it. And some lady that I don't know played for Pat Bennett's car or somewhere along the line. I don't know. But anyway, they were in the first MTV Unplugged. They featured this song. This song to me has got a good flow to it. Pretty catchy chorus. Really nice played guitar solo. Plus, I thought Jules Holland's piano solo is fairly pitching. So, yeah, I like it. It's a cool song.
Okay.
Fabulous? No, but I like it.
All right. What do you think of another nail in my heart?
Well, pulling muscles from the shell is a bit straightforward pop rock. We jump on board with the new wave feel here, complete with that oh-so new wave synthesizer all over this one. So basically, if one wasn't aware of what stereotypical new wave sounds like, listen to this song. Pretty cool vocals going on here. I thought it was a good marriage of pop sensibilities with the new wave feel. And I like the marimba in there as well at the end. I like when they use that kind of instrument in pop music. Another cool little song, but nothing that made me jump for joy.
Okay. I thought this is a good song. They play it as if they want to get it over with, so I'm not a fan of their passé approach to it. But the song is good enough where it shines beyond their too fast, get it over with quick performance of it. Okay, now for Separate Beds. This is almost pretty good. I like some of it, but some of it has that Penny Lane type of lyrics that I could care less about. And I'm waiting for a song with lyrics about which credit cards are in his wallet. It's fine, but not spectacular. What do you think?
I enjoy the guitar on it. It's got a nice sound to it, especially that acoustic sounding thing they did. I like that. It's another new wave type song here. This one, though, for my liking, is not so much to my liking because it's a bit all over the place. There are elements of it I enjoy, but this one is filler to my ears and it seems to attempt to fit in too much with sounds of the day. It wasn't as adventurous. I think they got more adventurous on East Siders, and I'm hoping we get something more adventurous at this point. I would skip this on return listens.
Okay.
If I was to listen again.
Yeah. What do you think of Misadventure?
This one's a bit power poppy here, even though Holland's keyboard keeps it grounded in new wave a bit. And it's some fabulous playing by him, I might add. The bass playing provided by John Bentley, pretty damn good too. It almost has a surf music vibe as well. So it's a decent little stomping tune here, but again, it's nothing that just makes me want to say, oh my god, this is great.
Alright, I put, it's a too clever song. That makes me start thinking they're overrated as songwriters. And I have a good number of songs left, and I'm already thinking this album is going to be a waste of my time. Alright. Now for I Think I'm Go-Go. At least this song has an honesty to it, in that they knew they were writing a mediocre song that wouldn't be too great, but at least they didn't try to make it better. Doesn't mean I like it better, and it doesn't get extra points for it, but now I'm feeling like the group knew they only had filler material, and the rest of the album is going to continue in this mediocre way. What do you think?
Originally it's a song about touring, and for Glenn Tilbrook, he thought it was pretty deeply, and I don't know if I disagree with that assessment. I mean, it's like more the feel of the track than being an out-and-out rip-off. Again, some really cool keyboards. You also get some orchestration going on the second verse, and that's definitely the more beatly part of the ears for me. I'd label this as pretty cool deep cut. Like, if you wanted to show it off, versus, say, pulling muscles from the shell and look like you know something. So it's got a lot of interesting sounds going for it. But again, nothing that floors me.
All right, what do you think of If I Didn't Love You?
Beat. Maybe we just have the different track listings. Hold on.
Maybe.
I can do If I Didn't Love You. You
Okay.
do have beat though, right?
Yes, I do have that too.
Okay, all right. We'll get to that when we get to it. If I Don't Love You. This was a track that I read was played a lot on the radio in the U.S. East Coast. Didn't seem to go to my area. This is the first time I've heard this one ever. I heard Devo influence in this track, particularly the sound of keyboards and the tempo of the song. Another one that's been all over the place for my liking. It does have a decent slide guitar solo though. And I'd say if maybe it was stripped back a bit, I'd like it more. So I hear a decent song, but for me, not in this style.
Okay, I want to just write next, but instead I'll say, this song makes me just want to write next. Okay, now for Farfisa Beat.
Okay.
So far, this is the best song on the album. The reason for that is because they play it well, and it sticks to a certain structure, which is a total copy and unoriginal remaking of the song Cool Jerk, which some of the most annoying bands can at least play well. So if the whole album sounded like this, it would be better, not for originality, but at least because they stuck to playing something in a basic style that could get people dancing. So I do like this song, but I recognize it's because they didn't add any elements to make me dislike it. And not because I think they did anything particular to make it great. What do you think?
Well, I was actually named after the brand of organ used on the album. Chris Difford, one of the songwriters, he compared this to the B-52s. And I suppose I could hear that. And unfortunately, I didn't care much for them. And something about this song is very annoying. I think this is the first song by them that I really not like. So there you go. The first lame song from Squeeze I've heard. And we liked it.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you think of Here Comes That Feeling?
Chris Difford, on lead vocals here. He seems to have a vocal style that I suppose works with the new wave style, not quite as poppy of a voice. And this one is again another all over the place new wave song. And by the way, I don't think he's a really great singer. Pretty limited vocally compared to his partner Kilford. And the song is not that great. The drum pattern is all over the place. Doesn't seem to work. As really the song doesn't for me either. It's pretentious as hell is my final answer.
Okay, I put the one good thing about this song and the only good thing about this song is that it's short. Okay, now for Vicky Verky. Another feller's song I had to get through. It seems they went to a class to teach people how to write lyrics like Bob Dylan and music like John Lennon, and in the middle of class, Difford and Tilbrook walk out and say, fuck that shit. If we want to write crappy songs, we'll go with our own ideas. And then they wrote a lot of songs like this. Okay, now for Wrong Side of the Moon. I'm sorry, what do you think? Yeah, what do you think?
But I thought it was like kind of like a monkey ripoff.
Yeah.
Musically to my ears. It's filler, but I don't think it's the worst stuff on the record. I'd have cut out the strings and just let Holland play his keyboards. It would have been better instead of having the strings and keyboards. But I guess they were trying to show off. I didn't think it was as bad as we thought, but yeah, it's just an album filler.
Yeah.
But it made me rethink it. Maybe it sucks really bad.
Well, I will tell you this. I have heard a lot of other albums that, if not worse than this, at least as bad or as good as this. So, since there are many of them, this isn't the very worst. Anyway, what do you think of Wrong Side of the Moon?
Jules Holland took a turn at lead vocals. He also co-wrote this, and it's a very piano-heavy song, so I guess that makes sense. Hey, let me tell you something, Lee. I don't think Paul Carrick has anything to worry about as far as vocals. Jules Holland, no. And this song should have been for Sesame Street.
All right. I put, this sounds like it was written by another band member who was equally mediocre. And his song was added because he didn't upstage the already previous boring material. Another genre, the same reaction from me. Okay, now for the last song, They're at the Top. Musically, it's just as mediocre as the previous songs, but at least it sounds like they were trying to make the arrangement sound alive enough for people to focus on it instead of the song. I still don't like it that much, but at least I recognize they were trying to make it sound decent. What do you think?
Well, I would close out this most uneven album experience with this track here. Some more power pop type rock, I guess. I must say, I don't think this band, the fact that they didn't continue with Jules Holland probably hurt them, because I think his keyboard is really what didn't work for me on this song. If they had just had guitars, bass, and drums and vocals, song may have worked better. For me overall, this album was a bit of a miss, and their next album was a lot stronger. Maybe that's the greatest album they've ever made. Even though I don't hate a couple songs as much as Leak, but yeah, it was a weak album overall.
And I did hear their very first album, which has a very interesting story behind it, and even though it's a bit different than both this album and East Side Story, I did like it better. It was different. It sounded more like an actual band instead of people being singer-songwriters with backing people.
And I have that. I could have picked that instead, but I didn't. And there won't be any Squeeze reviews again for quite a while, folks.
Yeah.
But I would say, that's the muscle guy on the front.
Yeah.
Whatever. I had a couple tracks. It wasn't, But, I'm kind of off the Squeeze train. I think maybe East Side Story is about the best they could come up with. Now you see why I wasn't dying to hear the new one.
Yeah, in fact, I had a couple of other...
I heard this.
I had a couple of their other albums, heard a couple of them, in which I got through even less of those than I did of this back in the day. And the problem wasn't that it was worse, but that it sounded as bad.
Well, what's really, really interesting is most of the professional reviewers consider this better than East Side Story and consider this a landmark album, and that shows that most critics are idiots.
Yeah, I mean, there are some albums where if I had to pick this to hear or those, I would judge whether or not the other album was shorter or longer, and if it was longer, then I'd pick this for that reason.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I would actually probably pick another Andy Pratt over this. I'm already over the Andy Pratt hate. It would probably be more interesting.
Yeah,
Good laugh.
I almost thought about saying that Squeeze was England's version of Andy Pratt, or Andy Pratt was America's version of Squeeze.
Yeah.
I almost thought that.
But the East Side Story was not a bad album.
That was a very pretty good album.
Right. So it was maybe an anomaly. Well, you said you liked the debut, so.
Yeah, and that's it's different and it's not perfect, but there's enough very interesting, cool stuff on it where it's worth a listen.
Well, there you go, folks.
Okay.
Squeeze Nation. Tell us how we're wrong or right. And
Yeah.
thanks for having me back, Lee.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. Take care. Bye bye.